Hey, it's Risa G coming in from her Hanukkah kitchen for actually something a little bit almost Christmassy. It's something I make every year for friends and family. I make little sacks of it, along with a few other things. But this year I'm only making 2 treats to give as gifts. This peppermint bark and my version of the cranberry bliss bar, which I got an original recipe from, I think it was Todd Wilbur's Top Secret Recipes. It's in one of his books. I have also made the Skinny Taste version. I didn't like it as much. I thought it was a little drier, but the Skinny Taste does have a recipe for cranberry bliss bars. Anyway, so I'm going to make my peppermint bark. I started making this in, I would say, like, oh gosh, 96, 97, something like that. I saw tins of this at a famous specialty shop in the mall, and they wanted $16 for like 4 ounces or something. And I said, I can make that at home. All it is chocolate and peppermint. So I went home and I took out some chocolate and some white chocolate and some old candy canes. I crushed them up and I made my first batch of peppermint bark, and I've been making it ever since. The recipe has changed slightly. Used to be they just crushed up old candy canes, like a whole box full of them. But now I use a crushed up product that I found at TJ Maxx or someplace like that. But you can use crushed up candies if that's all you have. Just a whole bag of them, take them out of the plastic and bash them with a rolling pin or an old wine bottle or anything like that. Or a hammer if you have it. Get out all your aggressions and chop them up. So all it is melted chocolate. You put it in the refrigerator, all laid out in a tray, and then you cover it with more melted chocolate. That's basically all it is. So it's not worth buying in the stores for $20 for a tin. It's ridiculous. Buy your chocolate on sale in December. Ghirardelli puts this chocolate on sale at ShopRite for like $1.50, $1.30 a bar, or whatever. I buy up about 10 of them, because otherwise they're like $3 a bar now. Ridiculous. And I have chocolate for the rest of the year. So for the next year I don't have to go out and buy chocolate. But if you don't want to do that, you can just buy chocolate chips, the darkest chocolate that you can find, and white chocolate in bars, not chips. Chips do not melt well. White chocolate chips do not melt. I don't care what it says in the instructions on the back of the package. White chocolate chips do not melt well, especially in the microwave. I mean, if you really have the patience to do it on the stovetop with a double boiler, go ahead. I don't. So I take 4 or 5 bars of it and I shred it up, and that's what I use. Okay? So here we are in my kitchen making peppermint bark. So normally you have even amounts of dark chocolate and white chocolate. Okay? Right now I have 5 bars of Ghirardelli white chocolate. Okay? I did not have 5 bars of Ghirardelli dark chocolate, but I had 11 ounces of chocolate chips, okay, and which are, I think, 65% cacao, I think, and I have a bar and a half, and I put it on my new kitchen scale and weighed it out, and I have exactly 20 ounces of dark chocolate. Okay, so even amounts of dark chocolate and white chocolate. Okay, just, alright, grind it up as small as you can. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put it into, you know, my microwave container. And, alright, I'm just going to chop it down. Don't have to chop it really finely, because it melts pretty quickly. in smallish pieces. Okay. Okay, there we go. And okay, so put it all into microwave container and melt it a minute, mix it, then another 30 seconds and mix it, and another 30 seconds, and it's usually done. Okay. Okay, while that's melting, if you want, you can at least chop up the white chocolate. You don't want to melt it yet, but you can chop it up. Okay, as you can see, I also washed my knife and dried it well, because you don't want chocolate to get wet, because then it will seize and you won't be able to do a damn thing with it. Whoop. Alright, well, it's obviously not ready. It's not melted yet. Okay. Just put it back in there. Alright. Put it back in the microwave oven. While that's doing it, as I said, you just chop up. That way you're ready to go when you need it. Because what you're going to do is, once the chocolate is melted, you're going to lay it out. You're going to drizzle it onto cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. Okay. Take your offset spatula and spread it out evenly, and then you're going to refrigerate it for, I don't know, 15 minutes, a half an hour, whatever it is. And then while it's in the refrigerator, I don't know, for about 10 minutes, then you can melt the white chocolate, and when the dark chocolate is all solid, right, when it's ready, see, now we're talking. See, now it's somewhat melted. Okay, so mix it up. Ah, look how glossy and fabulous that is. Needs another 10 seconds or so. There's still a couple of solid chips. Okay, so anyway, so once this is solid on the from the refrigerator, you melt your white chocolate. Once the white chocolate is melted, then you mix in, if you want, if you have it, a little bit of peppermint extract. and the broken up candies. Okay. Okay. If you're doing it in a bar pan, then you do the opposite. You want the white on top. The mistake many times. What? So now the white chocolate is, the dark chocolate is, if you're going to do it on a sheet pan like this, then you do melt the dark chocolate first. Put the dark chocolate on top. Alright, you want it on the very, very bottom. Okay. Alright, so here you go. Here's the dark chocolate. It's all glossy and melted. You could just eat that. Alright. Okay. It's totally melted. Alright, now. Alright. So now I pour it.
Read it to me.
I pour it on here. Okay. And with your offset spatula. Alright. If you saw my video on essential baking tools, then you know offset spatula, very important. Okay. So you just do this as evenly, as flat as you can. And this is going to make somewhat of a thick chocolate bottom if you use a larger pan. If you use a larger pan, then you'll get a thinner layer on the bottom. Alright? There you go. Okay? Now, of course, there's a little bit of leftover melted chocolate. If you want to do something else with it, go ahead. Okay? Alright, this goes into the refrigerator. Put it in the refrigerator. I'm not going to really show the refrigerator itself, just show sort of me putting it. Alright. Alright. Okay, so sit there for 15 minutes. While it's sitting there, I'll finish mincing up the white chocolate. Okay. Also, you need, if you can find it, at this time of the year they sell peppermint extract. Okay. And also, see, this is what I'm using. Minced up candies. I bought it in a jar last year. It's still good. Because it's basically sugar. If it's basically sugar, it lasts. So, alright, you can either use several candy canes bashed up, or a bag of those round peppermint candies. I've done it with that. But I usually have candy canes left at the end of the year. Okay? And, okay? So we can, okay? Alright, you just keep doing this, you just keep melting it, chopping it up. Alright? Until you get it okay. I like to put them on top of each other and do several at a time, usually. See? Okay. Also do this as quickly as possible, that way the heat from your hands doesn't melt it. Because at this moment you don't want it melted. Okay? But it doesn't matter. But I like it to melt evenly in the microwave. Or if you're going to do a double boiler, you can still do a double boiler. If you don't have a microwave oven, If you don't have a microwave oven, then just chop it up. Put a heat-safe bowl. Well, take your a small, like a 2-quart saucepan. Put an inch or so of water in the bottom. Bring it to a simmer. Put a heat-safe bowl on top of it. Stainless steel is good. Okay, and put the chocolate in there, and just keep, give it about a minute alone, and then mix it with a wooden spoon, and there you go. You got melted chocolate. Okay. As I said, I've used really expensive chocolate, and I've used Ghirardelli, and you know what? First of all, your friends and family, unless they are gourmands, unless they're real foodies, they're not going to notice the difference. Okay? They will notice if you use really cheap chocolate, so don't use really, really, really super cheap chocolate. Buy more expensive chocolate cheaply, when it's on sale. And that's that. I've also done it with some of these other bars from Ghirardelli, the Midnight Revelry, which is like 72% or 80% cacao. I've also done it with more milk chocolate. We like it with the dark chocolate, and so do my friends. But this year I'm doing this just for my workmates mainly. Maybe a tiny bit for us, since I'm really the only one. My son likes Trevor likes peppermint. Trevor likes peppermint too. So, and he likes chocolate, so he might. I don't think he's ever tasted this though, because he's very picky. Okay. But really, don't use really super duper cheap chocolate from the dollar store. Okay. I'm sure that. Yeah, I don't trust the quality of it, unless you can get Ghirardelli there. I have seen it there, but I mean, if you want to, you can check there first. But most supermarkets have it very cheaply right now, because everybody's baking for their friends and family. Okay, so white chocolate is now all chopped up. There you go. Okay. Alright, and now I'm going to put it in another microwavable container. I don't know if this one's microwavable or not, so I don't trust it. Alright. Okay, I'm going to put this one also in the microwave, if I can find the lid. There it is. And let's go in. And when it's melted, I'm going to add in a capful of the peppermint, and I'm going to add in these, and then I'm going to spread it on top of the chocolate. And basically, you have peppermint bark. Okay. As you can see, after a minute, just partially melted. And as I said, white chocolate takes longer. I think another minute will do it. One more minute. Ah, see, now we're talking. Actually, I could probably go another little bit. It's still a little lumpy. See, it's a little lumpy. Alright, still a little bit more. 30 seconds. I told you, white chocolate takes longer. Okay, so the problem with white chocolate also is if you microwave it too much, it gets way too, almost like hard, weird. So I'm going to leave it at this, wait another few minutes for the other thing to be ready, and then we'll sprinkle this. I'll put this in, alright? I'll put in a capful. Actually, maybe even a little less than a capful. Very strong stuff, the peppermint extract. Okay. Ah, the smell of peppermint. Wish you could smell it. And then in the little pieces of peppermint. Okay. And we'll wait a few minutes for the rest of the chocolate to be ready. If you really want to do it quicker, you can put it in the freezer. I have no room for I have no room in my freezer. So, refrigerator will have to do it. It does take longer. It's usually like 15 minutes in the freezer and like 25 in the refrigerator or whatever. But, alright, we'll wait a few more minutes. And then I'll show you what else has to be done to make peppermint bark. Go. Okay. So, here it is. Here's the white chocolate. It's all melted. Except it got a little harder. I don't know why, but it should still work. Okay. Then you take your offset spatula. Okay. And you slowly spread it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to crack it up anyway. You're going to break it into little pieces anyway, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But you also don't want it, if it's hot, then you got to work as fast as possible because otherwise it starts streaking like this. And the dark chocolate starts coming up on the top, which you don't want. Okay. Alright, so you just try to spread it out as evenly as possible on the top. Okay. So, really have to be more careful because then things like that happen. But once it's all cracked apart anyway, nobody's going to really see that anyway. Okay, and then what you can do is some in, and you just sprinkle some on because you're going to cover up any errors anyway. Alright. Okay. And you just sprinkle this on. Okay. And then I have this handy dandy double dough roller thing that I got from Pampered Chef. And if you do it right, you can like get the pieces, you just want to kind of roll the little bits of it in to the very top. Okay. And then you refrigerate it again. And in about 15-20 minutes you crack it apart and boom. Anyway, so you put it in that refrigerator, and let it sit 15 minutes to a half an hour or something like that. Then you take it out and very quickly, because your hands are warm, you crack it apart. Alright, you take it out, you put it on a cutting board or something, and because you had parchment paper underneath it, it should just come right out. Peel the paper off, and you can either take a good knife or just your hands and crack it up into pieces depending on how many people. I like to try to get it into somewhat equal sized pieces, bigger ones for bigger bags, smaller ones for smaller bags, and also depending on how many other treats I'm putting in there. This time I'm only putting a cranberry bliss bar or two in aside, so I can give more of the actual I need for about 10 to 12 people this time. And I'll probably make a little extra. I'll probably make another batch actually for me, Trevor, my friend Kim, her family, and maybe a couple of neighbors who I'm semi-close to. So, I mean, really, you saw how easy it is. You melt one kind of chocolate, you put it in the bottom, you melt another kind, you mix some stuff with it. After the first batch is refrigerated, you just put that batch on top, refrigerated. How hard is that? Anybody can do it. And if you buy the chocolate really cheaply, it's really cheap to make. You can get about 4 to 6 gifts out of one tray. So that's pretty good, right? So if you spend, I don't know, about $12 on the chocolate, and you have all the other stuff from the year before, it's really cheap. All right. Anyway, I'll see you back in a few minutes when the chocolate is out of the refrigerator. And come back again to Reese's Closet Kitchen. Bye.